Hello again, and welcome back to Illegally Cited. This is Jesse, and I am back again for another, not really a channel update video, but with my thoughts on all of today's game announcements, because boy howdy, there were quite a few of them, and more than I actually expected. We found out just the other day that Nintendo was going to have one of their new Nintendo Partner Direct showcases today, early this morning, which they did. And then I didn't even know or realize that IGN was having some sort of like fan fest or game fest, or I forget what they called it. But they had a little showcase thing where they announced a lot of either new games or release dates for games we knew already existed. And yeah, so even though I just did a channel update with a lot of other topics and my thoughts on the whole Xbox slash Microsoft hubbub last week, God, was that last week? That seems like ages ago. Um, so we did that. Go ahead and check that video out if you missed it. Like I said, we talked a lot about just a lot of different things, like some game accessibility stuff. We talked about Xbox. We talked about um, just some of the gaming industry stuff going forward. And yeah, so check that out. But today, I'm not going to go do the whole channel overview thing as I do for my monthly videos, because we're just going to focus on today's events. But I do briefly just again want to thank everybody for supporting the channel, for supporting just the work that I do, whether it's the channel, the stuff on Twitter, working with the Doom, the Toby mod, the podcast appearances, interviews, types of things, just all that kind of stuff. It's just, I love what I do, and it's awesome. So, yeah, with that out of the way, let's get right into it. I actually had to write down a few things, otherwise I was going to forget. There was so much going on today. So remember last week, Microsoft said, well, we don't want to spoil anything, but there's 4 games that are going to be coming to other platforms. Well, we know what all of those are going to be now, because Nintendo started off this morning and they said that Pentiment and Grounded are 2 games that are coming to the Switch. Pentiment is coming out tomorrow, and Grounded, I believe, is in April. Now, Pentiment I did cover on the channel. I don't know if if the Switch version is gonna have the text to speech support or not. I guess it depends on how they implemented it and as to whether they will have the speech or be able to even support that. But go ahead and take a look at my spotlight video for that. It came out, I think, a year or two ago. Kind of a really story heavy, I guess you'd call it like a dialogue adventure type of game. Kind of neat. But yeah, so those 2 are coming to the Switch. And then after that, Sony also announced that, oh yeah, by the way, we are getting Sea of Thieves, which I believe is March or April. I forget exactly when. So they're getting Sea of Thieves, and they are also getting Hi-Fi Rush. And those make sense. They are current generation games. They'll run probably pretty easily on the PlayStation. Now, it wouldn't surprise me, honestly, if, once Nintendo's new system comes out, whatever it does, if it's not too crazy different, I could see those also coming to the Switch because, again, the more players that can join a live service game like Hi-Fi, or not Hi-Fi Rush, but the more people that could join something like Sea of Thieves, that would totally make sense on a Nintendo console. It's a Rare game. Rare has had a history with Nintendo, had a lot of games on Nintendo systems, and just the whole, like, really bright kind of cartoony art style and everything. That would really work. Might not be able to run on the current Switch. Again, that thing was not the newest hardware when it came out in 2017. So, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. But speaking of, before we get into Nintendo's event today, um, again, just the nonsense of all the predictions and speculation. Now they're saying that, oh, the Nintendo Switch successor isn't coming out until 2025, which may be the case, but who knows. All I will say is what I said in the last video. Like, yes, we do need a new Switch. I don't care if it comes out this year or next year, but yeah, it'll be good, if we find out and we get a new Nintendo system just so they can kind of keep up a little better. But I'm so not ready for this generation to be over. Now they're talking about a PlayStation 5 Pro. And remember when I said last week that, oh, the Sony was babbling something about where we are on the second half of the PlayStation 5's life cycle when I feel like it really hasn't even begun. And that's the thing is I wish it wasn't. I mean, I know they want to make money, I know they want to push things forward, but I wish we would stay on these consoles. Stay with them until they literally go the way of the Switch, where it's like, okay, literally we cannot tap this thing out anymore. Literally, we've pulled everything, every bit of power we could out of the thing. Now we can move on because there's just so much that, um, gameplay wise, and you can do so much. There was a conversation on Twitter earlier about like realism and realism mods versus a good art style. And I've said, many times that I love a good art style. I mean, hey, give me cartoony graphics, give me stylized, whatever. But yeah, so who knows when we're going to get to learn about the new Nintendo system? Who knows when we're going to get it? But, sometime in the next couple of years, whatever. I'm not going to speculate anymore. I'm not going to really care until we hear the details from Nintendo themselves. So we got the Xbox 4 games out of the way, pretty much what everybody expected. And now we get into Nintendo's little partner direct today. So we get a new Super Monkey Ball. Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble. And it's got, I forget how many players, what did they say? It was some ungodly amount of players playing almost like a cooperative thing. And to me, like the main game is kind of interesting. I like the whole navigating the maze with the ball, but some of the levels just get so challenging. It's frustrating. But what I really enjoyed, especially with the first couple of games, was the party mode. I remember in college, the first Super Monkey Ball, playing Monkey Fight, but especially Monkey Target. And if they're going to have online play like this, I would love to see just like this giant long ramp and everyone is flying and gliding through the air trying to fight their way to the islands to get the most points, like having, was it like 64 players or some ungodly thing? Um, and you're not taking turns, everyone is just kind of going and it's like a free for all. That would be great. Think about like a battle royale monkey fight thing where you're trying to knock everybody off the arena. You get the power ups and stuff. That would be a blast. I really, really hope that they do stuff with the party games with that number of players because that would just be, well, bananas. Um, that would be so much fun. Star Wars Battlefront Collection. I tried these back in the day. They were mainly focused on multiplayer. I think some of them had a campaign or something. I think a roommate of mine had gotten one of the games back in the day. I like the idea of them, but I was just never good at them. And so, I mean, yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people love them. So, hey, if that's coming out, but some of these games are not just coming into Nintendo systems. This is one of them, I believe, that's going multi-platform as well. So we got the Star Wars Battlefront Collection. That is coming within the next couple of months. This is one of my favorite things. We mentioned Rare earlier with Sea of Thieves. Rare is adding 5 new titles to the Nintendo Switch Online, which I need to definitely check out. We're getting Snake, Rattle, and Roll. Boy, I wish I could cover that one. That one, a friend of mine had that growing up. It is this isometric platformer, actiony type of game. It's really bizarre. But it was neat because like my parents used to listen to a lot of like 60s and 70s oldies and stuff. And if you remember the old, what is it? I think it's either a 50s or 60s tune, Shake, Rattle, and Roll. So that's kind of, you had Snake, Rattle, and Roll. There was like Rattle and Roll were the two snakes. But they had all of these, like, all the songs were kind of, it had this like 1960s um, type of songs to them, and it was a neat thing. Really colorful, got really freaking hard toward the end. I never did beat it. I think I got like 2/3 of the way through it. Hard. But yeah, Snake, Rattle, and Roll. God, who would have thought? RC Pro-Am. Classic game. Simple but classic. Very, very catchy theme song, title screen music. Still remember it to this day. Fun little isometric racing game. I would say the predecessor to Rock and Roll Racing. Rock and Roll Racing perfected it, but RC Pro-Am is where it started. Super Nintendo games, we get Battletoads and Battle Maniacs. I want to like the Battletoads games. I do. And the first levels of them are always fun. They're traditional beat 'em up, and they have, cool animations and attacks that you can do. And the Super Nintendo version, I remember playing the ROM when I was in college. I was, getting Super Nintendo ROMs and that. Yeah, I did that back in the day. But it had just super catchy, super catchy music in the first level. And then, it goes to all these other, like, I commend them for the variety of gameplay. But this game was, the NES version and the Super Nintendo version were so damn hard. The second level, you're going down this, like, this shaft, and you're, like, trying to kick enemies and whatever. And the third level, that goddamn turbo tunnel. Anyone who's played the game knows exactly what I'm talking about. The turbo tunnel can just die in a fire because that level sucks. And I know I've never beat it legit. I might have been able to use like save states in an emulator to cheat my way through it, but that level is such a. But Battletoads. Killer Instinct, the Super Nintendo version. Classic game. I'm terrible at it, but it had some very, very catchy music. And the theme song is still super, super good. The Instinct. Very, very cool theme song. Blast Corps. This is an N64 game that I never got around to playing. Everyone kind of lost their mind about it back in the day, and when I've looked at it since, I'm like, God, I wish I wouldn't have missed that. It looks fun. But you're using all these like different, I don't even know, there's like different mission objectives. It's kind of got this isometric look to it, but you're using all these different pieces of like equipment and vehicles, and you're destroying things, and I don't know, but it looked really, really kind of fun, and I'm really looking forward to checking that out. So those are the rare games. Then we get Epic Mickey Rebrushed. Back in the Wii days, this was a big deal. Like, oh, they're bringing back the Mickey Mouse game. And in the 16-bit, even the 8 and 16-bit days, there were several pretty darn good Mickey Mouse games, like Mousecapades, and there was one for I think that was the Nintendo one. There was one on the Genesis that everybody liked. I never had a Genesis, so I never played it, but I've seen it. But yeah, a lot of the Disney games back then were quite good. But I guess this Epic Mickey is a remaster. Hopefully they'll clean up some of the control issues. I remember people liking the art style, but the gameplay wasn't really clicking with people. So I'm curious what that's going to be like, but that's coming out here in the next couple of months. Shin Megami Tensei 5, Japanese RPG. I know nothing about the series. I know it's kind of a spin-off, or Persona is a spin-off of that or something, but other than that, I don't know a thing about it, so I can't really speak to it. South Park Snow Day is coming out, I want to say in like mid-March. And I don't know what it's like they're not going with the flat 2D look of the South Park RPG games like Stick of Truth. It's more of a 3D, almost like the N64 3D South Park. I'm not sure if I like the art style as much, and I'm not even quite sure exactly what the gameplay is. I know it's supposed to be actiony. There's single player, there's co-op, but I'm not entirely sure. how the game plays. So I am curious because I am a South Park fan. So we'll see. Ender Magnolia. Loom in the Mist. I guess there was a 2D platformer. I forget what the other one was called. Came out a couple years ago. I either didn't know about it or missed it or something. But it's a colorful 2D platformer. I don't know if there's like puzzles and stuff. Yeah, I don't know much about it other than what I saw in the trailer today. This one's going to piss a lot of North American people off. Mother 3, or the third in the Earthbound series. I know people love Earthbound, the Japanese RPG. Well, everyone has been clamoring for Mother 3 to come to North America. Well, I guess the Japanese version of the Nintendo Direct said that, hey, guess what? Mother 3 is coming to Japan. But it has not been announced for North America or outside of Japan. It has not been officially translated to my knowledge. Now, there are fan translations, which if you get the ROM and then you can install like a translation patch, people have done that. So like you can play it if you go out of your way and get that to work. But I know a lot of North American people, a lot of North American Nintendo fans are going to be disappointed to hear that's a Japan only thing right now. Monster Hunter Stories, apparently this is also coming to PC and other platforms. The Monster Hunter series, like part of me is intrigued about it, but part of me is also there's so many like stats and equipment and all of just crazy stuff you got to worry about and think about, and there was like Monster Hunter Rise was another spin-off. There was one where everyone was getting into it. Like I can't remember what it's called. I might even own it on Steam. I might have even picked it up dirt cheap. I like the idea of these games, but I just have not picked one and tried to dive in to see if and how much I like it yet. But this one's like a really more kind of animated, cartoony, anime style version or spin-off of the Monster Hunter series. That's about all I know. Gundam Breaker 4 looks kind of neat. The only thing that kind of intimidates me is looking at all those stats and things. Again, you're taking all your parts and building your mechs and everything. But the gameplay looked like it was actually pretty fast and kind of fun. So I'm kind of curious to see what extended gameplay might look like for that. But, yeah, I mean, a fast mech game. I almost thought about picking up Armored Core 6 when it was on sale. I think like it looks really cool, but accessibility wise, I don't know how well I'm going to be able to see it. And again, the From Software games are always just so freaking hard that I don't know how well I would stick to it. But if it goes on a deeper discount, I might have to try Armored Core 6 because I've heard nothing but good things about it. But then again, I've heard nothing but good about Elden Ring, and I bounced off that one pretty hard too. So Penny's Big Breakaway. I knew nothing about this game. I don't even know if they announced it before and I was just oblivious or if they just announced it today. But either way, not only did they show it at the Nintendo event today, it is out today. It is out on the Switch and it is also coming to other platforms. I wish listed it on Steam because why not? And apparently it's a very colorful 3D platformer. Not Generations. It was made, I think, by a team that made one of the previous 3D Sonic games that was actually received pretty well, if I remember correctly. But it's like you said, it's a 3D platformer. I guess the main character's got this whole like yo-yo mechanic where you kind of use it like Cappy and Mario Odyssey, where you can like hit enemies with it, or you can like throw it out and then jump on it. It looks neat. I don't know how good I'm going to be at it, but it looked interesting, and it's one of those that I'll probably check out out of curiosity when it goes on sale. Endless Ocean Luminous or something. This was another game that was either on the Wii or the Wii U. Underwater exploration game. I really don't know much more about it than that. But the funny thing is that was their finale. That was the Nintendo Direct finale. Is like, oh, one more thing, or they had two more things, and I forget what the first one was. But then the final thing was literally this endless ocean, and we're like, yeah, I'm sure it's a good game, and they're adding multiplayer so a lot of people can play at the same time. That's great. But I think I'm thinking there's probably going to be a lot of people again complaining about, with the Mother 3 thing and then that. Um, really, you're going to have the finale be this endless ocean game, and I feel bad for the developers because I'm sure, it seemed like it was favorably reviewed, and it seems like they're, remastering it and whatever. That's cool, but I was kind of hoping, like I said, I keep hoping and praying that we get that Wind Waker HD. I would love to have that. It's already on the frickin' Wii U. They could just port the damn thing. But nope. So that was the Nintendo Direct. Not bad. The Monkey Ball thing, the Rare thing, that the Rare package, the Rare games on Switch Online. That was probably my two favorite things. I mean, I think there may be one or two that I might have missed, but that's most of it, I think. Not bad, not great, but honestly, I wasn't, this isn't a first party direct. This is a partner direct. It's a little smaller in scale. This is not your big E3 type event, and that's what people need to remember. And again, the Switch is kind of going into its sunset mode. We're going to get some games this year, probably a few next year. We've got that Princess Peach, I forget what it's called, not Super Princess Peach, but where she goes into all those different like costumes and different types of worlds and stuff. That looks kind of interesting. We had Mario vs. Donkey Kong just released. I played the hell of that on the GBA, the Game Boy Advance on my Game Boy player. Fun game, actually. So there is still stuff, and like I said, they could still announce something cool for the end of the year. I could see either doing more remasters, or I could see, some maybe some smaller titles. Who knows what'll happen for this fall? But it's about where I thought it would be. So then we get out of the Nintendo Direct, and then we get all kinds of other announcements, and a few of these are really good. So I did want to write down really quickly that we had Star Wars Dark Forces remaster. This is a Night Dive remaster, so it's going to be good. I covered the unofficial, I forget what they even called it, but like last year I covered the unofficial fan remake or fan update for Dark Forces. Very cool. But now we have the official version coming out, and that's coming out at the end of this month, the 28th, as is Wrath, Aeon of Ruin. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what the final version of this is going to be. I covered the early access version on the channel ages ago, probably 2-3 years ago now, and it was fun. I was actually thinking about this game a few months ago, and I was trying to remember which one it was, because I remember we were in this like not sarcophagus, this sort of crypt area, and there was like the zombies, and they were breaking out of the mausoleums and whatnot, and then there was snow areas, and yeah, so what I remember of it I like. And so that is also coming out at the end of this month. I'm very much looking forward to checking that out as well. Good old couple retro first-person shooters there. And even though it's already out, I have to draw your attention. If you missed it, I decided to release it as a bonus video because I had something planned for Monday. But ever since I played this Arzette, Jewel of Faramore, on I think it was Friday, I started playing it, and I just couldn't get the dang game out of my head. Remember the Zelda CDI games? They made a spiritual successor to it, but actually made it play better. But the presentation style, it has all the that style of music. It has the very, very, very over exaggerated like caricatures when you're doing dialogue. The cheesy voice acting is there. It's spot on. I mean, some whoever made this is nuts because they went above and beyond, and they fully honored. I think they clearly knew what they were doing, and it feels like a modern CDI game that just plays a little bit better. And I need to keep playing that. I need to see where this thing goes, but check that video out. It is crazy in kind of a great way. I'm really glad that dumb things like that can exist. Kudos to those developers, because who would have thought in 2024 a spiritual successor to the Zelda CDI games? Go back and watch my spotlights and the stream I did for the Zelda CDI PC remasters from a couple years ago, because it's a doozy. Konami is doing this Felix the Cat collection, which is a 2D platformer series, I guess. I've heard of it, but I've never played it that I remember. I saw some footage of it today and went, okay, that looks fine. I'll check that out maybe. Might be kind of fun, but that's about all I know about it, but it seems fine. This is the one that I heard a rumor about last week, and they confirmed it today. Limited Run Games Ninja 5-0. This is a game that came out on the Game Boy Advance. I picked it up used at a local GameStop back in the day. It's a really cool game, and it's, if you want to pick up the Game Boy Advance cartridge, it is extremely expensive. I don't have the box or anything for it, but like even the cartridge, I could probably get a few $100 out of it. It's a 2D action platformer. You're a ninja naturally, but you are like rescuing people. You're jumping around the environment. It's kind of like, I would combine it. I would say it's like Ninja Gaiden meets Bionic Commando, because yes, you have a grapple, you can jump, but you also have a grappling hook, and there's a lot of mobility stuff that you can do. It's just a really, really cool game. Like, you're a ninja cop. It's like I said, Ninja Gaiden meets Bionic Commando, and hell yeah, sign me up. The only thing is, I think it's coming to the Switch and like your consoles, but I haven't heard that it's coming to PC. And I would love to have it also on PC for my Steam Deck. So, please bring that also to PC, but like, I'll pick it up on the Switch. That would look mighty good on the OLED. Yeah, Ninja 5-0. If you have not checked that game out, when it does come out, I believe it's in like March actually. Check it out, because it's a very, very cool game. Brock the Investigator is now available on iOS. You can play the first segment of it for free and see how it works for you. I know a lot of people, when I covered it on the PC or Xbox or whatever platform you want to get it on, so many people are, well, will it come to iOS? Will it come to iOS? Well, now it is. So here's my advice. Put your money where your mouth is and support the developer, because it is also blind accessible. I looked it up on the App Store literally today, and he does mention that, yeah, it is fully still blind accessible on the iOS version. So now you have no excuse. You've got PC, you've got consoles, you've got mobile. Brock the Investigator, very solid game, accessible, pick it up. Contra, Operation Galuga. I saw some, the trailer actually had a lot more extended gameplay. They showed some of the playable characters. There's some kind of cheesy voice acting with it. It kind of reminds me of like a Broforce Lite in a way. But they have a demo out on, I think, a lot of your platforms now. And I want to say it's like March 12th it comes out. I already downloaded the Steam version. I haven't played the demo yet. But I am curious to see how well it plays and how hard it is. I want it to be good because I love the old Contra. The original Contra was great. Super C was great, but it was hard. Super Contra and Contra Hardcore were cool, but again, very hard. And And then the series has kind of taken a downturn in recent years. So I know people were not happy when they showed the initial trailer of it not terribly long ago, that people didn't seem super happy about the look of it or something. But as long as it plays well, and like I want that series to be good, because I want Konami to actually make good games again. Llamasoft, the Jeff Mentor story. This is, remember Atari 50? You got the Prince of Persia, or not Prince of Persia, Karateka. You got the Gold Master series, that is like these or these interactive documentaries from Digital Eclipse. Outstanding ways to preserve game history and educate people on the history of games. So the Llamasoft games, they're just completely audio visual. I don't want to say nightmare fuel, but I want to say like just chaos. They're audio visual chaos. And I'm very curious to see what kind of background and what kind of other movie and playable prototypes and things they put in this game. I'm not a huge fan of the game. I mean, he did like the Tempest. I think Tempest 2000. He did that, which is a cool game. But then these other ones, Space Giraffe, I think was on the 360. That was a visual. I didn't know what the hell was going on in that game. But he's made a few of those, and yeah, I mean, like I said, even though I'm not hugely into those games necessarily, I will still totally pick this up because I want to support Digital Eclipse and what they're doing, and I love learning about this stuff. Like I am genuinely fascinated to know like how he decided, yeah, I'm gonna make games where it's like you feel like you're tripping balls the whole time. I'm genuinely, I'm kind of looking forward to it because so far the games that they've covered, the Atari collection, the TMNT collection, Karateka, I'm familiar with those games. I'm vaguely familiar, but don't really know much of anything about Jeff Mentor's games, other than a little bit of Tempest 2000 and whatnot. But so yeah, I'm coming at this from a different perspective, and yeah, I genuinely want to learn. So that is coming out in March as well. Here's a game that I saw the other day on YouTube. I heard the name and went, meh, whatever. It's probably some medieval like real-time strategy game or something. Oh no, 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 no. Kingmakers. Go look up this trailer. It is batshit crazy. I don't know what the story is, if there's gonna be a story. Is it single player? Is it just only, or is it multiplayer? So Kingsmaker, or Kingmakers, it's, I guess, like modern soldiers go back in time to medieval times, and so you have these like just Dynasty Warriors esque, just tons and tons of people, armies and such, and you're in one scene, he's like mowing dudes over in a vehicle. He's running around with like a machine gun. There was like a helicopter that came in toward the end of the trailer. I mean, it is just, I have no idea what's going on in this game, but I need to know. And it looks crazy, and I really, really hope it's fun. I guess it's been in development for 5 years, and they just unveiled it the other day. But it is now definitely on my radar because Kingmakers looks kind of insane, and I need to know what this is going to be, because just look it up. I can't even do justice. I can't explain it. It's nuts. Elden Ring. I forgot to write down the title of it, but they're getting a expansion later this year. I know a lot of people are going to be happy about that. Elden Ring. Um, Again, I tried Elden Ring. I picked it up on the PS5 when it was on sale at one point, and there's just the UI was tiny. I tried fighting different enemies, and I kind of felt like I hit a brick wall right away. explored a little bit. It just wasn't really doing it for me. It's just there's so many other things, so many other games, but also so many other things I want to do in my life. I've got work, I've got, I can't bang my head into a wall unless something really, really clicks with me. It's just not something I don't think I can, I'm probably, it's just not going to be for me. I'm not going to, bang my head into a wall repeatedly and try to make myself get it. I recognize that it's a very well made, solid game, and I wish I were better at it. I wish I were into it. Um, and I know they've made like minor UI increases, like made the UI a little bit better, maybe made the text slightly bigger. And if it goes deep on sale on Steam, maybe I'll try it or something. I don't know. I'll fire up the PS5 version or something. But yeah, there is a new expansion. People are really going to love that. They released the trailer for that this morning, and as far as I know, that should be most of our announcements. But I mean, good lord, yeah, it was like Indie E3 today. We had, the Nintendo Direct had quite a few games. And then we had the whole IGN thing, and we had release dates for a lot of games we were wondering about. We had a few surprises, and then, like I said, we got a couple of our first-person shooters that are coming out at the end of the month. Very much looking forward to that. And there's always just other stuff, There's a couple other demos I have yet to get around to playing. There's a couple other just cheapo games that I was able to pick up on Steam recently that I want to check out. So, the other thing that I forgot to write down that I will end with, March 7th is when we are getting the Spider-Man 2 patch for the PlayStation 5. So if you are interested in the PlayStation 5 version of Spider-Man 2, they are adding a lot of the accessibility features that got delayed when the game launched last year. Now, I did see they released a sample cutscene, basically one of the intro cutscenes with audio description. That was great. But I've heard some conflicting things, and again, I'm gonna wait until the game is out, and then I will confirm what is and is not there. But they initially said screen reader support, but then I don't know if it's only for the main menu and options menus. I don't know, because someone had posted something like we don't know if it's actually going to be, like your skill trees and your upgrades and your suits and all that, those other types of things when you pause the game. So I don't know if the screen reader is going to work in all those areas. I certainly hope so, because that's really where I need it. Reading all those different things and picking my perks and things, that's what I want to speak. So we'll see. And I also don't know. I mean, here's the thing: and again, I'm not knocking them. I appreciate what they're doing. Absolutely, and I look forward to playing it as a low vision player. Apparently, there's some low vision, high contrast silhouettes that you can turn on now as well, so that'll probably be helpful. But for blind players especially, I don't know that there's going to be a navigation assist. So to get, point the camera toward your objective. I don't know if they've really implemented that. I did not see that in the release notes specifically, which is, like I said, I commend them. Like, I'm really glad that Insomniac is further improving accessibility with every title. Look what Miles Morales to what we're going to get next month in Spider-Man 2. But I do find it a little bit weird and maybe kind of ironic in maybe not such a good way that we're getting audio description for cutscenes. That's awesome. However, you have to be able to get to the cutscenes. You have to be able to play the game to get to said cutscenes. And so if you're blind and you can't independently navigate through the world to get to your objectives, well, then you won't be able to really take advantage of the audio description. Now, again, audio description is great for people like me who can see somewhat but might miss something in the cutscenes, or if you're watching a sighted person play the game, and when cutscenes happen, you could do the audio described cutscenes. That's great. And again, they're getting better with each game. But if I were totally blind and they don't have the nav assist, I would have to kind of feel a little bit crushed because they got so close. We'll see how good the screen reader is. We'll see how much it does or doesn't read. I will try and do a follow-up video when the Spider-Man update comes out, so I will try to do something with that next month. But I figured, yeah, I'm glad I remembered that, because that is a good topic to wrap up this video on. A little something potentially positive accessibility related coming up soon. So yeah, that is the events of today. Lots to kind of be excited about. A lot of indie stuff that looks pretty good. Like I said, if you haven't bought it it's out on pretty much any platform under the sun these days. So go play Brock Investigator. Go buy it. Go play it. Look forward to the Spider-Man stuff and all the other games that were announced. So yeah, a lot of fun stuff coming up soon. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give it a like if you did. Follow me on Twitter at BGFH79, twitch.tv/illegally-cited, illegally-cited.com, and right here on YouTube. Until next time, I will chat with everybody again later.